Blenders, welcome to RotoGrinders Today. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD. If you want to follow me on Twitter. And it's Wednesday, February 14th, and we'll be taking a look at the NBA big 12-game slate tonight. Joining me on this Valentine's Day is Will Priester, Chief Justice 06. You can follow him there on Twitter. Hit that thumbs up button. Give me those thummy thumbs. Show your love for Valentine's Day. And hit that thumbs up button. Hit the likes. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. Valentine's Day, we got 12 games. Do you love this slate? We talked before the show, Will, about Valentine's Day. Are you going out that you can't do late? I mean, we got a lot of games in between. By 9 o'clock you're done, right, with late swap. So I mean, if you want to go out late for Valentine's Day, that's fine. But me and my wife are just going to stay home and watch AEW Dynamite like we normally do on Wednesdays.
Well, yeah, that's fantastic. My dinner reservation is at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Are you going to have dinner with all the 82-year-olds? I mean, that's a little early.
Well, so my son has basketball practice at 5, and then there's a playoff basketball game here at 7 that we're going to attend. So 5:30 is our optimal time today to go to dinner. So
your wife is fine on Valentine's Day to go to a basketball game.
Well, yeah, because so the thing is, this might be the only one we can catch because it's the playoffs. So if she doesn't catch it, or if we don't catch it, then the season's over. One of her friends, her daughter's a cheerleader, and she's been trying to go see her play. And then one of my son's AAU basketball teammates plays at the school, and we want to go see him play. So it's kind of best of both worlds type deal where she'll get. So
she actually does want to go to the basketball.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not one of those. She's just coming along for the ride. She wants to go and support her friend's daughter. So, yeah, that's how we kind of ended up at that particular route for dinner. Going to a really nice restaurant here. I mean, nice. I'm saying it is a chain restaurant. We're not going to like one of the local upscale spots. So like there's a lot of expensive restaurants where we live here in Charleston. I mean they're everywhere, especially if you go downtown.
But I know I've been to I've been multiple times to downtown Charleston. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah.
Isn't there's like a farmer's market down there also? I remember going.
Yeah, farmer's market, and they've got a market where the ladies make baskets. It's huge. And so Charleston's a fairly expensive place to live. And so downtown is where all the we do have an outlet further up, but like downtown is where all the boutique stores are. You know what I mean? Like you can go to Coach.
Right, all the big houses, all the chartreuse, like all of it, very pasty style houses.
Yeah,
it looks.
Yeah.
You go down there, it feels like it's 1817 again or whatever.
Yeah. So listen, it's cool. It has its perks, man. When I worked in the financial industry, for an investment firm, my boss, I worked downtown. And but when it rains downtown, it's typically going to flood. It's like if we get a nice rain because it's right by the water. And he'd always say, "Well, guys, looks like we're going home at 2:00 today. The cost of living in paradise." That would be his phrase. And so I totally get it, but that's the cost of living in paradise. It's expensive.
So I'm figuring with you going out for Valentine's Day, this is more of a props day than a DFS day, especially with 12 games, 24 teams. And the injury report being, not worth the weight it's printed on.
Listen, Blender, not only that, 24 teams, 12 games. I know we're breaking it down this way. 12 games up through 9 o'clock. And we're one day out before a real break. So tomorrow's like the last day they're going to play. So it's going to be, I can already tell you, it's going to be shenanigans all day.
You're expecting. So Will, you're expecting today and tomorrow essentially is very similar to like the last couple of days. You're like senior year of high school type of why are we coming, or even like for February break, your senior year, you're already you already got your college applications already. You already know where you're going. It's like, yeah, do we really have to come in on? Let's make this a long weekend instead of coming in and of course even the teachers are like, we're bringing in. Well, you see that TV cart rolling in.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's Blender. That's old school. These kids probably don't even know about the TV cart because they got whiteboards and all this stuff. But that TV cart and that VCR, oh boy, we knew it's gonna be. The lights go off, that tape goes in. It's a good day. But yeah, I think it's going to be shenanigans, and I actually think some of it started last night. Like I'll just use Boston as an example. Like Kristaps Porzingis sat last night. What does that tell me? Somebody from Boston is probably sitting today. So that's what I'm saying. Like even if the shenanigans haven't started right this minute, I think there's going to be tons of things happening throughout the day. So Blender, even for props, I've got I put a couple in this morning, but I'm kind of going to try to be patient here. And I might have to miss out on some value, but I'm just going to be okay with that because I think more things are going to pop up later that could influence. Because I really like unders. I like a lot of unders anyway, and so all my unders stuff, like I just don't put it.
You don't want to take an under on a team. Like we have like the news yesterday. Obviously, LeBron said that he's not going to play today, but we have Anthony Davis is questionable. It's like you don't really want to take Lakers unders unless it's Anthony Davis, and then AD sit out, and then essentially you're screwed, right?
Yeah.
Same thing for. I mean, I think the thing like with Halliburton on the Pacers, we got Porzingis or whatever happens with the Celtics, right? Zion with the Pelicans, Barrett with the Raptors, DiVincenzo with the Knicks, even Miles Turner with the Pacers, Cameron Johnson, Hartenstein. Right. I mean, we look at the situation room, and you can get this at RotoGrinders.com. You don't even have to be a premium member, right? So even if you're the freebie people out there, we love you too. Go to RotoGrinders.com and look for the injury report situation room, and it'll give you the status, questionable, doubtful, out, the impact rating, right? We don't care that much that Maxi Kleber is questionable, right? I mean, he will affect a little bit, right? Gafford and the available bigs gets his minutes, right there, right? And it shows you if out and a little assessment of, what you should be looking for if they are out. And remember, if you're a premium member here at RotoGrinders, which you should be, click on that link in the description, get $10 off your first month. We include all of the questionable players into our projections until shown otherwise. So if you're using our projections for props, pick 'em, DFS, right, in general, always be aware of that. And throughout the course of the day, by, probably this afternoon, our projection team will be coming out with if-then projections. I'm assuming there's going to be an if-then projection for if Anthony Davis is out, if Halliburton is out, if Porzingis is out again, if Barrett is out, like some of these bigger situations. So you can kind of get the leg up on the projection because it'll show you. It's like, oh, this is what the Celtics will look like if this, then that, right? And of course, our projections, once that news comes out, gets updated, under 5 minutes in those scenarios. But if you want to just be aware of those situations, especially if you're betting on props, right? If you're going on the pick'em sites, being aware of this stuff, I think the thing is that some of these books, at least most of the ones that I use, they save me from myself because a lot of times they just don't even bother putting up the numbers anyway. Like I can't go. I don't think I could go on FanDuel and get Lakers props really.
Yeah.
Right. They just don't even bother. They won't even bother to put them up because they don't even want to be stuck, the 5-10 minutes before, the news comes out, and then some trader has to go and quickly pull everything down and hope that, no one takes advantage of them. Yeah. So I've noticed that a lot of the books for the NBA stuff, they just don't even bother putting it up. But a site like Prize Picks, they're a little bit more riskier. They don't mind putting stuff up for some of these teams that have questionable situations. And I think that's a place that I'm much more likely to take advantage of those situations.
Yeah, and Blender, I think it's something important to note today too. Like if you look at our situation room, which is something that I think I mean, if you're doing this, like, you should be using it. Quick scan, see what's happening. Like, they can catch you up pretty quick, right? What I've seen today, Blender, is there's a lot of good players that are out or doubtful. Like, when you look at the range from 10 to 7, like in terms of our impact rating, meaning, hey, if this person's out, it's really going to affect things. There's a fair amount of what I like to call critical things, and a lot of guys are out have been out. But like Ben Simmons sitting today was a big deal for a guy like Schroeder. If his assist prop, you may have been able to get him at 3.5, then Simmons gets ruled out. Well, now he's 5.5. As an example, I'm not saying that's where it was. I'm just saying, looking at this early can kind of give you a chance. Like Markelle Fultz is doubtful, most likely going to sit today. Not only is Clint Capella out, but Okongwu is out today, which is going to impact Atlanta and all these, their rebounding and what they're going to do. Like, and they're playing.
I mean, here's another situation, especially for DFS. Jamal Murray and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope are both doubtful,
right?
And I go look at our DFS projections, and Jokic is like 71 point median,
right?
I mean,
and that's probably right,
because he's going to play all the minutes and have all the usage. I mean, it's like him and a bunch of, whatever, and they're playing and on top of that, they're playing Sacramento, right? Yeah. They're at home playing Sacramento. So, and Sacramento, not the best defensive of teams.
Right.
So yeah, I think at DFS today, I mean, if I just go by our optimal, right? And this is going to be value opening up, right?
Yeah.
Right. I go, so yeah, you're going to get Jokic in your lineup, right? You're probably going to get some cheap, but maybe, what are your thoughts today on Amen Thompson? Because, the Rockets have guys out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been up and down. Like, I almost feel like if you can, Amen Thompson is not someone that I'm that comfortable playing at chalk in DFS. Of course, I'm not playing DFS. I full transparency, I don't play NBA DFS anymore. I just do props and pick them for NBA because of these 12-game slates, and I'm done. Right? You know me. I'm just I could put the volume elsewhere, and without as much stress and without as much time.
You get your GPPs in hockey and soccer and MLB.
Well, my GPPs sometimes are just prize pick six pick prize pick cards.
Well, yeah, that too.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I only say this because I've been many days, especially with the Rockets lineup in flux. Like every day that like Sengun is out or Van Vliet is out or something like that. My Amen Thompson props, on some days I crush them, and on some days I lose them all. I mean, just like and it's not even it's not even close. Like it's one of those things where his prop is whatever the prop number is, and I have the under. Like he goes over it by double.
Yeah.
And then there are times where I take the under, and he like, dude, it halfway through the game, he's not even like a third of the way there, and I'm like, okay, this is easy, right? And then today, although today it's the first time in a while that we have in our model Amen Thompson overs. So I look at that, I just go Amen Thompson overs. How much am I putting down on this? I mean, because like out of all of this, like you get the Jokic's and the Lucas and the Durant's and the real players,
because
right?
Bradley Beal's going to sit today. You see, it's like that's impacted Durant.
Bradley Beal killed me yesterday.
Oh man,
killed me.
Yeah.
I had three 5-pick on Prize Picks that were tied to Bradley Beal over something that went 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5 with the Bradley Beal. Now I got the reboot on them on Prize Picks, so better than nothing because it reverted down to a 4-pick. But I also had his over 19.5 points. I had his over 24.5 points plus rebounds. I item across the board. And of course, since the sports books give you those boosts, and those bonuses, most of the boosts that I get are on SGPs. So I use them. And of course, all my SGPs were that game with Bradley Beal overs.
Yeah.
And,
see, I will say, but it's so interesting you brought that up, because this is where sometimes like there is value in the prop game on a site like Prize Picks, where if for some godforsaken reason Bradley Beal breaks a fingernail in the first quarter, doesn't come back, they'll at least kind of get rid of it for you. And I think it's advantageous for them, because remember, they're a fantasy site, not a sports book. So to be able to have that advantage in their pocket, I think it's good. I will say this too. Underdog is, I think, starting to participate in that. I think they're called injury insurance. I can't remember what it is, but like the
but I would never
term.
take that. That's not worth taking.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I think they're going to start doing it maybe even outside of that, because once again, when you're a fantasy site, let's find ways to help the players, and I think they're trying to do that. Whereas in sportsbook, you lose, you lose.
Yeah, but I don't mind losing if I lose. I don't mind. I mean, it's not.
I'm
not
okay
going to
too.
purposely go on Prize Pick just for I'm going to go on Twitter and reboot Bradley Beal. But it is, you have to. I agree with you. You have to put it within some type of mental calculation that whatever edge you have, it's maybe slightly a little higher because of the reboot possibility that you get, because Prize Picks is more willing to say, hey, most people that play on Prize Picks, they're holding so much that they're willing to do that. I mean, that's the reason that they're the holds on, if you don't know how to make a plus EV card on Prize Picks, like the hold on these cards could be 20-30%, and Prize Picks is just raking in the money. So if they have to like reboot Bradley Beal for like everyone that has like the more on it, that's just like, oh, let's make people happy, because they're probably making cards that are negative EV anyway. So like, let's just keep them in action more. The sports books, obviously due to regulations, probably less inclined to do that.
Yeah.
But also they're holding less money. I mean, when you bet on just straight props, they're holding less money. Right. Obviously, the SGPs, they're in the same boat as Prize Picks, that the holds are high. But the only time that I play SGPs on the sports books is when they give
you the boost. You have to take
when they give me a 50% boost on a $25 SGP. I mean, like, you're basically like, if I randomly selected 3 things from a game, it's going to be like slightly profitable just on the boost, because it'll remove all the hold. And I'm there. But if I put 3 plus EV things together, like, thank you for the boost. Now it's even extra money, just higher variance.
Well, listen, I know you didn't hit your SGP, your $5 SGP for the Super Bowl. How close were you though? Ironically, do you know? Actually,
mine, no, yours didn't hit. We did the one on the show for $5.
Yeah, the one we did on the show.
Yeah. Well, no, because you were taking Pacheco over rushing yards, and I had tons of unders on him. So
I wanted rushing attempts, and we didn't have that, so we took the yards. I wanted the attempts, but yeah,
I missed on 2. The 2 main ones I missed on in the Super Bowl were Rashee Rice over 6.5 receptions. He had 6.
He's right at 6, and he had the targets. I mean, it's just
right. He had a drop earlier, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then I also had Brock Purdy under 249.5 passing yards, and he got 255 because of overtime.
Yeah.
Everything else I did. I mean, everything else. I mean, I hit 80% of my props on the Super Bowl. It's just
I had a really
all
good
those boosted SGPs that they were flooding into your account. Like every day, they're like, "Do you want another $25 SGP on the Super Bowl? Do you want a $50 SGP on the Super Bowl with a 50% boost? Here's one with a 30% boost. Do you want to parlay things that like?" So I had a ton of those, and I couldn't hit any of them because one leg is always, nope, didn't get that. Didn't get the Brock Purdy over. I did a Brock Purdy over 1.5 passing touchdowns with Christian McCaffrey's over 4.5 and over 33.5. And of course, Jawan Jennings is the one that throws the touchdown.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get 2 touchdowns. He only gets 1. Purdy only gets 1. So that gets busted.
Of course he does.
Right. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
But that was your
I don't.
fun
I don't
money.
sweat over
That was
these
your
things.
fun money. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, it's boosted. It's plus EV. It's boosted money. It's just going to be higher variance. I get it. It's the, I bet all those individually anyway. So it's like I broke even because like all the money I made off of these single props paid for all of the boosted SGPs elsewhere. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. On a general note, Will, you're going out for Valentine's Day tonight, 5:30, right? Subject
Well, I'm probably leaving around 5.
Okay, but you're going out. You're going out 5.
Yeah.
You're going to your the basketball game at 7. You're going to get some props, some pick 'em, right? Mostly pick 'em because you're in South Carolina. You're going to get some pick 6 stuff on DraftKings. You're going to get all that in. But for the general part, it's Valentine's Day. Like, how much different is it? Because you're going to be out with your wife. You're probably not going to be checking the scores on your phone as much. You're going to be watching the basketball
I'm
game.
not that guy. I'm not that guy.
Well, that's what I was asking. It's like this is a good day for people out there that are obsessed with like sweating the games to like go out with your significant other or your Valentine or whoever, right? Or for some people, their hand. Feel free to sit on the couch, put down your phone, have fun with your hand, right? For the single people. Or you go out to it, whatever. And practice not sweating the games and just wait until the night's over and then check to see.
Well,
just
Blender,
to see what happened.
And that's why I love doing shows with you, Blender, because of the Roto Grinders. On Roto Grinders Today, we get to talk about these types of things. I think if people really tuned in and listen to some of this stuff, I think it could help them. Blender, I don't not sweat every day, but most days now I don't sweat anything. You wouldn't believe, I think most people, you wouldn't believe how your stress level can just come down if you just detach from the sweat. I mean, look, here's what I'll do. I'll probably check it at like 10:30. Say, oh, let me see what happened today. I'll look and go, oh, like, so if a guy got if I took an under at 3.5 and the guy gets 3 rebounds in the first quarter and doesn't have any more rebounds the rest of the game, everybody else was sweating and stressing out the 3 rebounds that he got in the first quarter but didn't get any more. And I'm okay. Now, once again, Blender, I do participate in the sweat because part of that is part of the community, part of hanging out in the prop shop. Like that's a part of, building camaraderie. But in a general sense, I'm way less of a sweater than anyone. I follow the rules. I put the stuff in. I go and hang out with my family. I check at the end of the night. I said, oh, I made a couple $100 today. Okay, great. Sometimes it's a couple thousand. You get what I'm saying? Sunday it was. Sunday was one of the big days. And I was like, okay. So, but life is so much more enjoyable without the sweat. Even for DFS, Blender, the only sweat really is with building lineups for me now is if I'm going to have to make changes after lock because of some stupid news. If I don't have to make changes, there's no sweat. I mean, especially like, because when I really go heavy, Blender, I'm typically running 150. Like if I'm going really heavy, I don't have time to be scrolling through 150. Like they're going to be all over the place for 3 or 4 hours. So, I'll go check at 10:30, see if I got a sweat, see if I'm even close to anything. And if I am, okay, great. I'll check back after these late games are over, or in the morning, depending on whether or not I've gone to bed. But it can really help your quality of life. You're still going to make the same amount of money whether you watch every play or don't watch any of them. Whatever happens,
right, you don't control anything. It's out of your control. It doesn't matter.
Right.
The thing that I will is for NHL is that I don't play a million lineups in NHL. I typically play somewhere between 3 and 5 lineups.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I typically have a main lineup and maybe some whatevers and larger field stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just put I have SofaScore, which I use for soccer.
Yeah.
They have hockey as well. So like yesterday, my main line was Montreal and Ottawa. So I just put on the notifications for Montreal and Ottawa. Right?
Yeah.
So just like both those games started at 7. So if a goal gets scored in that game, I get a notification. It doesn't even come with a sound. Just that my screen goes up, goal scored. And then that's the most relevant information. I didn't need to know what's going on in the Dallas Stars game. I didn't have any Dallas Stars, right?
Yeah.
Let me see how my teams are doing. And I know people will say, well, what happens if the Toronto Maple Leafs score 9 goals and you don't know about it? So, well, then I lose anyway. Who cares, right? But I'm not going to be able to win without the Canadiens, the power play line, and the Ottawa power play line doing well. So if I see that stuff happening, then I could go after seeing 5 goals get scored in one game and 7 in the other. I'll go, oh, now I can see what the rest of the league has done because my lineup is probably pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And then I could bother with it. But I mean, if it's 9 o'clock, 2 hours later, and I played those 2 teams, and they've only scored 2 goals amongst them, and not even the lines that I played, like, what's the hell's the point? I don't even bother even looking at the contest anymore because it's like, well, I can't. I'm nowhere close, obviously. So
Right.
it's a 12-game, 11-game NHL slate. So and that news comes to me. I'm not like sweating. I'm like on the phone going, let me take a look. Let me take a look. I'm not watching the game. It's just like I'm doing what I'm normally doing, at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and just like I would get a Twitter notification or a Discord notification. Just like, oh, okay, Canadian scored. Oh, Suzuki scored. Okay, that's good. I have him. Great. And then I go on, and then that's it. Then you just move on.
Yeah.
I think not only for stress levels, Will, thinking in terms of what could you do productive with the time on things that you can control.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, you could choose to recreationally, you could choose like, well, I'm going to spend the time with my family. Okay, that has nothing to do with your DFS or sports betting stuff, but that's valuable to you. But if you're like, should I sweat the games or should I work on my, programming skills or modeling or you were getting into tennis and you're scraping data for tennis and stuff, like all of that is much more worthwhile to do for your bottom line than watching the game that you have no control over, like as the primary part of what you're doing. I don't mind, me personally, the only games that I watch are like Red Zone on Sundays.
Yeah.
Right. Is there a better use of my time? Yeah, of course there is. But I enjoy watching Red Zone. I enjoy watching MMA on Saturdays. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't need to, but I enjoy it. Outside of that, soccer, typically soccer on Saturdays, I will watch whatever the USA Network has as their main game at 10 in the morning.
Gotcha.
Right. I have Peacock. I can put on any game I want, but it's also 10 in the morning. I'm not that as productive at 10. I know I do shows this early, but I'm not as productive. I'm waking up. I made my soccer lineups. I'm basically gonna lie on the couch and probably fall asleep again watching the soccer game, and then wake up and do my MMA lineups. Like,
Blender,
but that's it. On a nightly basis, I'm not watching the MLB games. I'm not watching the NBA games. I'm not watching the NHL games. It's like I got better stuff to do. There's other stuff that you could be doing. And even if you have the time, like, think of the things that you could be doing that would be making you more profitable in DFS, pick'em, and props than sweating the games. Because, 24/7 betting is 24/7. Dude, if anything, work on live betting. Like, go, okay, what's a productive way for me to watch the games? It's like, find the flaws in some of these, live betting scenarios and go, I'm gonna stare at an odd screen and take advantage of it. Or props and stuff. This prop is off mid-game for the second half, right? Because a lot of times, we've seen with Flash Draft, and I know Flash Draft on DraftKings is not that liquid, right? But dude, we've seen plenty of times where some guy is like, oh, he's going to the locker room early, right? In NBA, it's like he checked out at like 1.5 minutes and went back to the locker room. And it's like, is that an injury? Maybe he doesn't play the second half. And the books didn't adjust like the second half props or stuff in their live markets. And you go in there and you're like, I'm going to take the overs of all these because I don't think Bradley Beal's coming back. right?
Right.
And they still have the numbers up as if Bradley Beal's going to play the second half. Like, if you're watching the games for that purpose, I think that's a productive use. But just to simply sweat the stuff you've already put in, like, you don't control any of that. It's not the amount of money you make at the end of the night has nothing to do with how much you watch the game.
Blender, and I think that's a great man. You covered so many great things, and I had a couple of things I want to say, but I'm going to start with this, where I work my way slightly backward. That's how I watch the NFL. Like, I enjoy watching football, but Blender, the NFL is probably one of my top live sports because I can watch the game and determine a game script based on what we're approaching at halftime, right? And sometimes before halftime. As an example, Blender, sometimes the team that is behind, well, they're going to get the ball first at the half, right? As an example. And you're looking and you're saying, well, wait a minute. Why is this passing yard numbers off? They're behind and they're getting the ball first, which means they're going to try to score. They got to score at least 12 points to get back into this game. And then you start looking at because now what Prize Picks does is they'll give us receptions for the second half, fantasy points for the second half, field goal attempts for the second half. And some of this, Blender, is just common sense, right? Hear me out here. If a team is down 21 points at the half, their likelihood of kicking field goals in the second half if they don't score, way down. So the first thing I do when I see a team down about 17, 20 points, I said, well, they're probably going to be less likely to kick field goals. So I take under field goals. Now the other team is more likely to kick field goals because they're ahead. And if they, if the drive stalls out, they don't mind kicking for 3 up, 24 points. So they'll take the field goal. Most likely, most often, a team that's ahead in the game but not getting the ball first, like the other team that's behind is getting the ball first, they're going to be more conservative in their play call. They're not going to throw the ball as much. So the other side of the ball, let's say the team that's behind, they have a passing prop of 140, and the team that's ahead, their quarterback has a passing prop of 120. Well, I'm just going to take the under on the 120, over on the 140, under on the receptions for the running backs, right, on the team that's behind. Sometimes they'll give us one at 1.5. I say, well, that's an automatic under for me. You get what I'm saying? And so I can kind of live script some of this stuff on Prize Picks. And usually, look, I'll hit some 6 for 6. A lot of them I'll hit will be 4 for 5, 5 out of 6. But my point is, I can do that in my sleep just by, if I'm watching the game anyway, I might as well take advantage of what's in front of me. And that's not me using any type of projections. That's just saying, hey, this is kind of the common sense part of the live part. And I think that's something that you can do also. And I don't do it for every game. I usually only do it for games that I'm watching. If I'm not watching the game, like, I'm not just going to live bet haphazardly. I don't know what's happening actually, but usually
I've been tracking, Will, a thing that I've been doing, productive use of my time for Saturdays. I've been tracking MMA live betting. I haven't done anything yet, but all I've been doing is tracking. I'm very good at, I mean, I this is anecdotal. I don't have data to show this.
Yeah.
I haven't tracked myself. I'm very good at judges' scorecards in MMA. Like, coming from I would fire and soccer referee, like, understanding like the technicalities of rules in sports is one of my strengths. So obviously I argue, with people like, well, this happened in a baseball game. It's like, actually the umpire was right. It's like, yeah, but it's like, that's the rule doesn't say that. You think the rule says that. The rule doesn't say that. Everyone thinks this. What a catch is in the NFL. It's like, well, the rule says it this way, and that's how they're enforcing it. You can disagree with the rule, but that is the rule, and feel free to say that they should change it. So in MMA, I'm very good at scorecards and line movement. Like, I've been tracking the past 4, 5 or 6 events. Live line movement, and then scorecards, and marking down. Now, this is not every fight. Marking down the fights where essentially the broadcast commentary doesn't match the scorecards.
Gotcha.
Because I tend, that's where I excel. Of Daniel Cormier is saying, like, dude, his shots, are really connecting, and I look and I go, yeah, but he's only landed 4 of them. Right? The other guys landed 18 shots. And yes, 1 out of the 4 was actually a pretty decent shot, but like it wasn't enough to win the round. And I'm like, maybe one of the judges will be bamboozled into giving that guy the round, but I think 2 other cards have the other guy getting the round. So I'm tracking all of this and going, there are times in the 3rd round where one guy is a -400, -500 favorite, and on the live line it's like +380 on the underdog, and I'm sitting here going, like, dude, the +380 guy is literally like probably ahead 2-0 on 2 scorecards. Why is he an underdog? It's primarily because of the commentary. And I go, like, you should bet +380 right now. The line should never be that wide at that point. And then tracking to see what the actual results were. So I'm trying to figure out, because tracking it is hard, Will, because all the books, like, they react, like they lock, like everything stops, lock, stop, because you're watching in real time, semi-real time on an MMA fight that one slip could change the course of a fight. So these bets lock in and out very, very quickly. And for some odd reason here in Louisville, I get the broadcast like before almost everyone in like Discord. And I don't know, I'm part of like closer to an internet hub or anything like that, but it's a common occurrence that, like, I've seen a knockout 10 to 15 seconds before other people that are literally watching the same thing as me on ESPN Plus or something. So I'm like combining the two, like, yeah, am I going to be able to pass post or anything? Like, no, you're not going to be able to do that in live betting. But these are the opportunities I just want to use from an overall perspective. These are the opportunities that, if you're going to sweat the games, if you're going to watch the games, people think in terms of watching the games as, I'm going to find out something interesting from the sport, right? Well, you're going to watch a basketball game and go, oh, it seems like they're matching up this guy with this guy, right? So next time I have to think about it. They're rotating this guy in and that guy out. I'm looking for more of the betting opportunities of, like, if you're going to, based on the information you see on screen, where is the betting lines off, especially in live situations? And either Will is extremely bored or he froze, right? Or he's really looking. Okay, he's gone. I bored him. I bored Will. Will always comes in and out here. I guess Charleston internet is not that great. But I just wanted to highlight that. Whenever me and Will, get on shows, we always kind of talk about, more macro stuff, especially we have a 12-game NBA slate. I already saw Darius Garland. He's questionable now, right? He wasn't on the injury report, right? He isn't here, right? This is going to happen all day. So I feel like talking about the DFS slate at 11 o'clock in the morning, little premature to really do anything. But you could use the situation room and get a sense of what you should be looking at, what you'd be paying attention to. And then also, obviously, we have our props and pick'em package that Will is a part of. Will even has his own expert pick right here. He posted at 10:43 in the morning. Dejounte Murray over 11.5 rebounds and assists at -120. So you get the expert picks here, but you also get the prop model, right? The top 20 edge bets based on our projections here at RotoGrinders. And the same exact projections power our pick'em tool, right? So we have our pick'em tool right here. So, you could go right in. With the props and pick'em package, if we want to put together based on our projections at the current moment, remember, it's always at the current moment, Like you just go in and just like, okay, what are the here's prize picks. It's updated. I could just go right here, right? Go right over the prize picks. I can put them in, right? Luka Doncic, right? Assuming that there's no other injury news, right? So Luka, less than 9.5 rebounds, right? Luka, 9.5 rebounds. Where's Luka? Luka, you search. Luka, 9.5 rebounds. Where is it? They always have these typically the demons and the goblins are not worth it. 9.5. Did they take that? Okay, 9.5. Less. 9.5. And what's the next one? Amon Thompson, more than 20.5 points and rebounds. Amon Thompson, more than 20.5 points and rebounds. And you see here with the overlay, if you're a premium member at RotoGrinders, you get the Chrome extension that you see our projection overlaid over all the boxes. So even if you don't use the pick'em tool, you could just literally look, right? You could see, you compare the two numbers. So here, Will's coming back. Will's back. I'm taking some prize picks from the pick'em tool.
Yeah.
Bam Adebayo. Your power went out?
It came right on. It went out and came right back on. It was like a surge or something.
But I'm showing off the props and pick'em model, right? So I'm going through. I'm going to take the top 5, right? So we got Luka, less than 9.5 rebounds. Amon Thompson, more than 20.5 points and rebounds. Bam Adebayo, less than 34.5 points and rebounds. Terrence Mann, more than 7.5 points. Terrence. Am I spelling? Okay, no. It's Terrence, more than 7.5 points. And the next one is Devin Vassell, more than 23.5 points and assists. Vassell, more than 20 and whatever points and assists, 23.5. Right, that's what we're taking. Right, and this is all based on our RotoGrinders projections done by our excellent projection team.
We had it at 27, right?
What? We have it at 27.3.
Yeah, that's a really good gap there.
Right, so I'm going to take this for $30. Right, I put my money where my mouth is. Right, there you go, done. And as injury news comes in, as you know, because we just saw, I mentioned before, Will, Darius Garland is now questionable. We're going to see this throughout the course of the day. That this guy may be this. The projections will update. Our prop model will update. Right, you could just refresh it. You see the timestamp. Right. So our top bet right now, based on our projections, is Marvin Bagley over 11.5 points on FanDuel. Does that exist on FanDuel? Let's see if it's still there. I'm going to take it. And Blender, Will, I want to show people that like we don't, like a lot of people don't think. I swear, Will, I get this. I get questions. I get at least this asked to me once a week. I see you on the shows, and I know that you do mostly props and pick'em stuff. It's like, do you actually use the RotoGrinders projections to make all your? You say you make 100 bets in a day and $2,000-3,000, a lot of small bets. Like, do you actually use the RotoGrinders projections, or like you have your own stuff? It's like, no, I use the RotoGrinders projections. Right? Doesn't mean I don't look at other stuff. Right? Sometimes there's high variance situations. Right? There's a lot of situations where there's ambiguity of how many minutes someone may play. So it's like, if we have them on the high side, obviously the overs are going to look juicy, but maybe other sites have them on the lower side of minutes, and I look at that as a high variance situation. But if everyone seems to be, across the board on the minutes close enough, and there's value there, like, yeah, I'm using the RotoGrinders. I mean, whatever. I could bet on Love. What's this promo? Bet on, open a box of Valentine's Day props. Is it just an advertisement? What's this actually mean? Oh no, it's nothing. It's literally nothing, Will. I win too much on FanDuel that these are the promotions I get. Like, it's not even a promotion. It's just like It's time you treated yourself to something nice. Check out these Valentine's Day bets you'll sure to love. That's it. No boost. No bonus. Just
They're just trying to get you in the building.
Right. Just a graphic, right? I don't get anything up here, right? I get some, here's some nothing. Just so I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna take Marvin Bagley, right? I love the search box on FanDuel. So we have his over 11.5 points. That's what our prop model says. Over 11.5, win percentage 71.56%. I mean, minus 113 is like 52%. So that's why the edge is so, that's like a 20% edge. So I'm just gonna go in here, right? I bet like $40, 30, $40, $50 per.
Yep.
I'm there, $50. Place one. I just want to show, Will. I just like showing people that, like, yeah, I actually do use the stuff that we show on the show. Like,
absolutely,
I put my real money down on it.
Absolutely. And once again, Blender, I think on a day like today where, I know a lot's going on, I just kind of let this sit here until later in the day. And before I leave, I'll check and see if we kind of got some things solidified for maybe some spots I want to take some action on. And if so, I get it in. And if not, Blender, guess what? I understand. There's another day tomorrow. And guess what? I can still take shots on NHL. I know this is an NBA show, but NHL has props too. I can take shots.
There's three games today, so not many, but I mean, there's right.
Yeah, so there's plenty to do.
I'm doing some PGA bets now also.
Right.
With our PGA model.
Right, correct. There you go.
So Will, what content do you have coming out today? Obviously, you're not going to be on Crunch Time. You're not going to be on Grinders Live. You're out with your wife. It's Valentine's Day. Well, obviously anyone that's going to be on Grinders Live, like Dean, right? Dean has no one, right? He's not going out, right?
I do have content for Owner's Box today.
Okay.
Yeah. So Owner's Box and Owner's Box, I'm okay with. The site's a little bit smaller. So yeah, like I'm good with that. So I'll have some Owner's Box coming out today for NBA, writing up a few players, and I'll have an Owner's Box short. But for props and pick'em, no content today, and I'm pretty much done for the week in terms of content because NBA is done tomorrow, and I'll see everybody back next week.
I like the way you didn't even take the bait on me making fun of Dean. Isn't Dean in your area? Isn't Dean down by you now?
Dean's in Florida.
Okay. Wasn't he in Charleston for a little bit?
He was in Charleston a couple years ago.
Okay. He's always right. He's either at Grant's house. I never know. He's in Nashville sometimes. I have no idea. Yes, Hammer. I'm woofing on Dean. Yes. He has the time. He has the time to host the show on Valentine's Day because he ain't going out. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but the rest of the week is kind of sparse. Tomorrow, TJ will be on. We'll be talking primarily NHL, but I guess some NBA because, but NBA, it's going to be substitute teacher time. The TV card's coming in and no one wants to play, coming into the break. And then Friday, Squirrel Patrol will be on and we'll just talk about MMA. UFC 298 is coming up. So even though Friday's like what the hell? What do we do on Friday? Well, prepare for MMA. We got the soccer Saturday morning. To me, it's Friday, Saturday. Those are my days, right? MMA, soccer Saturday is more of a big day for me than most. And what are we supposed to do on the skills competition, the slam dunk competition? It's like, no, we got tons of soccer games. We got a great MMA card, a great main card for UFC 298. The preliminaries are not that they could be fine, but most of the name power is on the pay-per-view card. But we'll be talking about that on Friday. So hit that thumbs up button. Give me those thumbs. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button. The more you hit, the more likes you hit, the better Will's internet is or power gets. Right? That's how it works. That's the reason your power went out. People did not hit enough of the like button.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know why. Like, we're doing our thing here. We're bringing the heat.
We're trying to provide as much value as we can for free. If you want to join RotoGrinders Premium, click on that link in the description. $10 off your first month, and join our Discord. Join Chiefs Prop Shop. That's free. It shouldn't be free, but we give it away for free. I'm not in charge of our business dynamics here. We should be charging for it. I don't know why we don't, but you can go there. RotoGrinders.com/Discord, and I'll see you back tomorrow. As you'll always see me here, right? Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props, and pick'em on RotoGrinders Today.